Okay, this is a square. This is for concepts. If you want to do concepts, you want to learn a concept, or say the concept is within the social sciences of natural phenomena, and you want to whittle it down to say just more than you yourself. You want to be qualitative and somehow quantitative, and transcend quantitative and qualitative, even transformative, and do something that's never been done in the spirit of Wittgenstein, who says, "May others do it better." Who also keyed certain things that, like this. There's a theme. When I went to school and studied literature, they talked about the Renaissance, and the Renaissance, it separated itself from the medieval ideas of religions and stuff, and it led to Age of Reason. It never solved crime. Wittgenstein, pinned it down and said, "Don't turn a crime into an event. There should be practical, solutions. If you do something good, give him something good back. Give him a reward. If you do something bad, you're gonna have to punish him practically, but never turn it into an event." I can muse on that and wonder about turning things into an event. Well, first off, in the tragedy, according to like literary theory, all the main representations of our highest abilities and our lowest lows and our unseen truths, basically tragedies that are unrealistic, like some guy gets head chopped off or some guy stabs someone. Tragedies. If at the extreme levels, let's say that was a representation of our life. Okay, and Wittgenstein said, "Don't turn a punishment into an event." Well, people get arrested every day and no one cares. So Wittgenstein was right. But if you want to turn a punishment into an event, let's before we get to this point, let's simplify a complicated concept. No, in literary theory, in all representations in modern day of video, movie, books, a tragedy. Well, let's get to action. What's in literary theory? What's the basis of action? Character and thought. Okay, character, the actual character. It could be acting theory, the narrative getting magnified by the isotope structure of character in terms of on an inductive level. The pious priest, the holy saint, the filthy rich snob, the asshole judger. But then along those lines of those types of characters that are caricatures, they also have realities of subtlety of people who live ordinary lives, and the fluidity of the chaos of that characterization of the character that can have all kinds of surprises, ups and downs within a stable narrative in acting theory, according to critical theory. This book right here, theory, acting theory, the stable narrative, because you don't want to put two styles of prose in the same story. It'll be unless you try to break the rules or something. It'll magnify. You'll see the inner tensions of the prose and narrative by just the everyday or the violences and unities of characters and plot of main theme and some subplots and all kinds of different things. So in the main event of a plot climax, most main events, pretty much, if you erase the main event, it's gonna affect the outcome. If you have little pieces of that aren't main events, you can take it out. It won't affect the outcome. Well, say in a tragedy of a plot climax, when some guy's head chopped off or something crazy happens, it's been known in literary theory. It doesn't involve character and thought. It's irrational. No one is good character. No one's thought's going to want to chop someone's head off, or there's not going to be Texas Chainsaw Massacre. In the ideas and representations of the fantasies that has a realism within it. No character and thought in a tragedy. So when there's a tragedy that happens and it's so complicated, no one understands it. I'm going to get figured out with this, but it's going to lead to all kinds of other things. But I'll just say this: here's the positive side of it. If character and thought involves action, and action includes all kinds of great stories about what's possible in a reality, then the tragedy that just includes character and thought, everything else involves character and thought. So for our possibilities of our potentials, the sky's the limit. Perfect fit. So we can see he said don't turn it into an event. Because if a punishment involves a tragedy with no character and thought, that means there was no wisdom in that action at all. And then when you want to turn an event and you guys all put all your wisdom in it, you're going to water down your wisdom. You're going to dilute your wisdom. You're not supposed to apply wisdom. You're supposed to put practical effects. People go to prison every day. Genius structures of institutions that have been here longer than you. Vigilante justice, you just lost your place in time. I'll prove it even more. We said don't turn things into an event. Well, I'm going to get to the basis of a square, but I'm going to get to two concepts, integrate it into one thing. And there's going to be enlightenment involved, and it's going to take a leap of faith. But don't worry, I'm logical. That means absolute truth. Premise and conclusion. A statement in basic philosophy of logic, you can take it at any junior college. A statement, a philosophical statement. Premise, absolute truth. Conclusion, absolute truth. Premise, you don't give a fuck. Premise, absolute truth, right? Say you don't give a fuck. That's the truth. Okay, conclusion. Over time, a lot less care will be given. Absolute truth. Okay, statement, that's logical. That's basic. So don't worry. If you can't take the enlightenment of the metaphysical anti-extension exception to the extension rule of Kantian's extension no body rule, i.e. simple, anyone who's read this Parallel Lemma, whatever. If you can't get to the extent, yes, you will. You're going to, with your cognition, see something that has never before been seen. You're going to learn something. And that's basic. Oh wait, this explanation, this extension. That's unempirical metaphysics. Not if it's the first time you've ever seen it. You learn something. Then it's natural cognition. The exception to the Kantian anti-empirical metaphysical rule in the tradition of metaphysics, the knowledge of being. Okay, let's go straight to what this is the payoff. This is what you want to see, enlightenment, right? Well, everything's so logically absolute truth that you can not even believe this, but it'll skip it and it'll still get there if you believe it, because you will. And everything else, just by structure alone, if you erase that, still happens. So let's get to the idea of two integrated concepts, okay? We got direction theory, okay? It's simple. It's not duality. It's not right, wrong, black and white, up and down. It's one concept. It's the extreme polarities, okay? The 1,000,000% of temperature, there's the Celsius and Fahrenheit, whatever, they reach degrees that we will never experience. But because of those degrees, that the extreme polarities that we never experience, we can compare, and we have all the other degrees, okay? But in reality, I gotta be real, I gotta be logical. I'm gonna show you how pure and how fragile one single thing is. That's not right or wrong, black or white. It's just one thing that's opposite ends of polarities. And we'll have a good idea since we're thinking about punishment, crime, punishment. Let's do control. Okay, to show what I'm going to do with here, to show you how pure this is. What is the most, compare reality to control. What direction are you standing in if you're controlling? Well, the most extreme thing that's happened in life, slavery. See, so if you're a little bit controlling, you're still in the direction of slavery. Okay, at its most extreme polarity. If you're at the other end, the greatest right of control, parenting, or teaching, or mentoring, because it's the upkeep of the temporal every second. But you're just watching. You're observing. You're just telling them right from wrong. You're not hating them. You're not doing anything. You're just like, here you go. This is right from wrong. It's controlling. It's the most beautiful. The control involves slavery, and it controls parenting or teaching or mentoring. Hey, what am I doing right now? I'm teaching someone how to fish. If I teach you how to fish, you will never have to come back to me. You can feed yourself for the rest of your life. Okay? So, if you don't want to take good advice, there's another principle. Don't take good advice. Good advice helps people. You don't want to help anybody? It doesn't matter who someone else is. If you don't take good advice for just because you don't like anybody, then you're not helping anyone that you can help someone with. So advice, it goes beyond who it is. It's the message, not the messenger. If it's someone teaching someone how to fish, that's when you say, okay, well, I don't like you, but you made up for it, because that would help thousands of people for thousands of years. Like, the past is not as long as the future. If you care about the now more than anything else, you care about everyone else. You won't have time to worry about someone else's past. Thousands of years of lives get aided just by the idea, if everyone lived by that idea, and they all, were taught how to fish. So, on the upkeep of, the direction theory, I use an extreme one single concept. Not whether control is good or bad, the morals of it. Just, it's scientific, it's observation. Observation is very natural science, It doesn't involve too much experimentation, too much whatever. It's natural, it's your sight, it's light, it's cognition, it's natural science, observation. Which leads to observation, results after experiment, results after scientific method. Well, when you re-observe it, when you re-examine it, when you fail-proof something to where you see it fail so many times, that's how you know what a success rate is? That's observation, that's science still. Okay, so in the level of philosophy and logic, these are absolute truths. So we showed what happens. You can go right or wrong, or morals up and down. Well, here's the best thing about a concept. Okay, if you say with the direction there, if you go the higher you aim at the ideal you have, the lower the low of it is. Okay. So that's direction. That's the main thing that are going to go. There's this one side, two side, three side, four. Vertice. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8. In the level of evolution, things do improve the larger leaps in shorter periods of time. So it's going to have a quality effect to 8 already. When this is just 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and it quantifies even larger than that, but that's good enough to show that there's a direction theory involved. So it's going to have going down the line and turning on those vertices. So I'm gonna show you a structure of 4 principles and 4 priorities, which are perfect to have. Show me a needs and wants list, okay? You have a needs and wants list? I see your needs and wants list now, okay? Oh, now I know what your worldview is. Now I know what your concern is. Now I know how in touch you are with the rest of the world. Now I know how fair and balanced you are. When a needs and wants list, it becomes, well, it depends on who's looking on the needs and wants list. Then you know we have way too many wants. So I'm going to try to show you what I've already kind of allegorically and literally told you about, okay? Now, I'm going to show you, I'm only going to put 4 priorities and 4 principles. The less priorities you have, the more sensitive and critical you get to the thing to find out what they can do. If you have the right priorities and they have the smallest amounts, the less control you have, the basis control you have, the less controls you have to have and give. So I'm going to put fairness, okay? Fairness is going to go right here. But it's really right here, it's the top, okay? Okay? Because I have to go down the line, okay, of fairness. It's highest level of fairness, lowest level of fairness. And fairness is such a, it's like being, only morally, if everything's fair, you're allowed to be. Wickesley said, if I wrote down, he built a house, that's never as real as a real man building a house, But if you want to be include everything involved with everything and be at the respect level of words, being, being has to do with fairness. Everyone being, if they get to be themselves, they get to write down that they wrote a house and not to care. That guy's going to build a house and know that writer still felt. When you're being, everything's fair. Okay, but how am I going to make this real fairness? Well, Wickesley said, "Don't turn punishment into an event." I realized the Renaissance tried to solve a lot of problems. It did solve so many problems, but it never figured out crime. So we're going to go to the fairness is going to go down the line, and it's going to hit a principle of what? It's going to hit a principle of another actual phenomena, the principle of observation, and the level of reality of crime and punishment. Okay. So here's the fairness of the actual reality within, and here's the principle we're going to live by, okay, to go down the line of, observation to what? It's really right here, that's the end result, because it goes down to, so it goes to here, it goes there this way, it's a circle, probably it goes down, whatever. So you got fairness, it goes down the line of the principle, okay, and you have what you have right here, the actual reality. And that's a priority. That always happens, But fairness could be the principle, at least the next principle. It depends on how you look at it, You could put fairness as the priority, observation as the principle, and then you go down the line of fairness and you reach observation, and then you go to here, and then you reach enlightenment by what? Observation. And then look, you have to have 4 of these, but then when here, there's only 3 or 2 of them, because evolution with the right process, larger leaps, less steps ahead, and faster the evolution. So it depends on what you're looking at, the way you look at it. But you have to put reality. This is science's observation. I'm trying to solve a problem. Okay. So I'm going to say something. Didn't I say enlightenment? Now you know I'm respectful. And hey, don't worry if you think I'm disrespectful. There's a square and these are letters. It's not going to hurt anybody. Always try to modify it. Don't disagree. Modify it. Don't agree with it. Modify it. So there's a success in the world. If there's a success in the world that makes people want to claim that success, like the success that we created money. No, let's call it a failure as well, because we're reasonable. We're reasonable. We know it's not a failure. But if we think of it and idealize it as there, there's more room around it to find out what those other things are, so we can not monopolize only that and rely on only that. So on the level, I was just getting off the degrees by to the left or right of what I'm trying to get to. Let's go to, we got fairness, and what fairness? That's a good idea. Crime and punishment. And what do we do? Now we have to observe reality. Okay, observation. People go to jail when they get punished. Okay, and that's fair. But here's the concept like this. Okay, you sacrifice the life of one person for 1,000 people. Okay, in say 8,000 years, 50,000 people died or something. Okay. Okay, there you go. You sacrifice the lives of nobody for the lives of 1,000 people, 0, in 8,000 years, nobody dies. Okay, so how are you gonna do that? It's impossible. It's impossible. It's impossible. Well, I've been thinking about it. So it's impossible. Well, that's why enlightenment's gonna involve it. Spoiler alert. No, let's get to this. Okay, so we got crime and punishment. People go to jail. We have to sacrifice because they have to learn their lesson. We have to react. We have to respond. Hey, Vigilante Justice even thinks you get paid to punk people too. But hey, we got the genes. Remember Wittgenstein? Don't forget. Don't turn it into an event because there's no wisdom involved in an event. That's a tragedy. It even just proves in our representations that we're genius writers who know a little bit more than just writing. Okay, so it doesn't evolve. So how are you going to involve your wisdom in it? It's going to be imbalanced. And when you're sure all the time, everything progresses in life. So when you're sure and you stay sure, and you didn't think about it. Well, it's up here. You're gonna be down here thinking you're sure. You're never gonna know. So challenge, be that third party homogeneous still, human to the demographics of observation and change. So, crime and punishment. People go to prison. Hey, I trust, I believe in it. Okay? You got the power principle. Power principle, you learn in political science. This is why I respect all governments. This is why I respect all media. This is why I respect people who have too much responsibility. Because us small people, if we think we have power, good for you. But real power is, according to political science, political science means nothing happens for no reason. It's a freaking science. And believe me, that shit's hardcore. I was in the Navy. So anytime there's absolute real power, where there's too many people involved, and it becomes homage, seniority, priority. Well, priority means there's a lot more to take into account. When you got people like this, leaders, and you want to respect them or not respect them, just know that they've all experienced the power principle more than you. So they're not one to judge, and you're not one to judge. And you might think you can. They give you the freedom to do that. That's called gratitude structure. Hey, you made it to work every day, didn't you? And there's a world. And you want to talk shit about the media? There's a world out there, right? Were you on the floor on the way to work any day of your life? Were you on the floor saying, and somebody goes up to you, hey, why are you on the floor? Get the fuck up, you lazy fuck. I can't get up. Get the fuck up off the floor, motherfucker. You're in the way. I can't get up. Why not? I can't tell you. A month later, get the fuck off the floor, dude. I'm getting pissed. I'm late for work. I used to go to work. Get the fuck off the floor. Okay, I'll get off the floor. No, I won't. I can't. I just don't know how to. So, well, tell me why not. And then he tells him, then that motherfucker's on the floor. And then some other guy goes up to him. Was that ever happen to you on the way to work? Did that ever happen to you on the way to work? So you hate the media, love the media. They know how to fucking keep your morale high, not even be great. That's called the gratitude structure of the genius structures of the media and government. You're not on the floor, and there's a world, motherfuckers. We're the youngest country, so we better not be on the floor. And everyone's pretty much Jesus Christ personified who works 9 to 5 because 40 hours a week for people you don't know, customer service. That's like Jesus Christ. Did everything for everybody else. You work for that. You're a hard worker. In action. You're the man who wouldn't have died if he was a nun. Who died for everyone's sins and wanted to go to heaven. In action, no matter what belief system you are, because you gave your time up and all your lives up, and all those moments just so you have those simple moments, simple people. But people who have responsibility over too many people, I would not begin to know what that's like. But I learned in political science the power principle. When you have power, you gain power. You have to do everything to corrupt that power to gain absolute power, and you will keep having to corrupt down the line to keep that power. What a fucking stressful life. Who gives a fuck about money? Now you got too much responsibility. People die in war. There's all kinds of things that happen. People die in war so we can be alive. The power principle exists. Now, simple people are simple because their moments are their situations are complicated. Because if you're complicated, you wouldn't have complicated situations. So we're too simple to have the power principle. We'll get addicted to it. We'll have to keep corrupting the habit. We'll keep surveilling, reading people's minds. We'll turn it into an event, and we'll think we're right all the time. It happened. It's okay. It's okay. I believe in unconditional love, and I was a Catholic. Nobody's perfect. I don't believe in I don't believe in placing blame past judgment. And for one reason, real reason, is I learned the power principle. So you're not. Hey, it's not your fault. It happens to. It's a scientific phenomenon. It's a natural phenomenon that's been happening ever since people were in power. It's not our fault. I try to work on it a little bit for the next generation of kids. It's called this essay I wrote. No, I read it. It's someone's working on it. So we tried our best. There's no wisdom in it, and people get arrested every day, and no one even cares. Wittgenstein was right. He was a philosopher. He was a brilliant philosopher. People owe him. All kinds of sciences always cite Wittgenstein many times. He was a good thinker. So we have observation down here during a process of others do it better possibly. So this is what we have to do. We have to use our evolution of our communication because evolution is evolved right here. And all evolution is learning, okay? Evolution is evolved right here. Learning is right here, okay? And evolution goes back to tradition. So it's a sound thing that's good for everyone because it ends back at the result of fairness and the tradition, okay? So if you want to be enlightened, just know that there has to be learning involved. And we're going to have to go one step further. We have to know that evolution is on the lines. And this is observation. So we're at fairness, right? We go to the line of reality, okay? What's the lowest low of observation you can have for a punishment? Compromise. It can't be no observation or reaction. Observation is just watching or speaking or talking because someone else is observing and listening. You can't punish him. You can't push him. You can't send him somewhere under. You can't use physical action. You have to use your voice or observe. So then we have to start talking, right? Observation. So here's what happens in our most complicated situations when there's power principles and all kinds of different things. And power principles get pretty spiritual too. But we're simple people. We're not supposed to understand that because we have to trust that they understand cycles more than we do. Okay, so fairness, crime, punishment. I love the cops. Cops, I'm a pussy. I can't get anyone to turn around and get handcuffed. They'll laugh at me. I sock them in the face and keep running. Or I can't say, hey, stop right there, evildoer, bad guy, or a misunderstood person that just has to do it. They'll just laugh at me, keep going. So I respect the cops like a motherfucker. I'm not someone who can do that. I don't know how to. I don't have the momentum of some guy see me. He knows exactly to obey. I don't look like that. So I respect the concept. I'm just saying this is the ideal of concepts of priorities. If you understand the lowest possibility of observation is compromise. The highest possibility of observation is learning, is evolution. Basically, observation. The more you learn, the more we grow. Words govern actions, not actions speak louder than words. Because we've been surviving with our bare hands since the beginning of time. So in civilization, words govern actions. So that's the highest level of observation. The lowest level is compromise. We have to compromise. We have to compromise the reaction, which means we have to trust. Okay. Now here's another concept that happens. Okay. When it's everyone's fault, when something is everybody's fault, there's hope. Okay. When something is everybody's fault, the whole world's fault, there's hope. When it's nobody's fault, it's sad, and it's kind of the reality we're in. So what it means if it's everybody's fault, and under observation of speaking to each other, the big compromise, that means we have an internet, we have communication. Our voice is invisible. It's a mysterious voice, okay? It's mysterious. Our voice is invisible. It's mysterious. Our evolution is communication, okay? Because words govern actions. We have responsibility to put each other in our lives every day and talk, okay? Now, people can't even talk nowadays, okay? But it's okay because there's other things I can bring up. I want to keep it in the focus. And we're on the right track. So look, we have to communicate. We compromise. We have to communicate. We have to use words. We can yell maybe if we get mad, but no leader should ever be an angry leader because he won't be able to maintain himself the whole time. So this is what we do. Okay, we have to communicate. We have the internet. We have different cultures. One demographic says no. That guy he deserves. He has to go to jail. We can't trust him. No, we let him think about it, and then he says this: I found out what went right and wrong in the situation. And I know what went right in the situation. I know what went wrong in the situation. I know I'll never do it again. And then we trust him. And then everyone says, well, I don't know about that. Well, was that guy, bragging to 80 of his friends every single day that, he loved doing that? Was that guy all alone, kind of? You could tell he was hiding something, but could you tell he was at odds with himself? And then you jumped on him and said everything he knows he's not, but his mind is telling because everyone's collective consciousness is saying that they're going to do that. So he goes like an wild animal, but it's really because he knows it's not his fault. And then when you say, oh, wait, no, observation, communication. Well, this is when the whole world comes together, okay? So then this is what happens. Here's one part of the earth, here's the other part. Over here's the way I got caught, and he bragged, he didn't brag about it every day to 80 of his friends so he got caught. He's guilty for this reason, this reason. He didn't become spiritual. Then some other guy on the other side of the world says, we're all deciding to talk to each other. Okay, he says, no, actually, over here, we've known this for thousands of years more. You're wrong. It wasn't his fault, too. And we figured it out over here. Or someone high up in politics will say, oh, well, actually, no, we hide it from you because it's too complicated. But since we're all talking, that means every single person's at fault. Everyone has to tell each other what their darkest secrets are without us punishing each other. Because then we say, because we know why? Because we know what went right in the situation. We know what went wrong in the situation. And now we're all going to change for each other. And hey, since we're communicating, since we're learning to talk to our neighbors, instead of partying at LA and bragging about when we haven't talked to our neighbor in like 5 months, we all say, hey, all of us are working. Since we're talking, everything is only observation, and we're communicating, that's our compromise. Let's get every 1,000 neighbors, so we can talk to each 1,000 neighbors all the time. Instead, and we still don't consult the government, the media, because everything's still gravy. Because we all still have jobs, and we still need them, because we don't want to get fat. But this is how we get rich and still keep our jobs. Every 1,000 neighbors get $400 a month up. Okay. Every 400, since we're talking, hey, I gotta walk down the street, I can't trust that guy. He might steal my wallet, or I'm gonna steal that person's purse. I'm a purse snatcher. No, why don't you just do the basic, obvious, common sense? Every 1,000 neighbors, since we're talking all of a sudden, put $400 a month up. Give 25% of those neighbors once a month that $400. They all became rich, and they could take a month off of work every other 2-3 months. And all those people who aren't working, they got months. Dude, there's so many people in the world. Everyone will be fucking working. And it's just the more value, the more action you put, the more effort you put, the more value it has. I don't want to be rich because I share all my money all the time. Then I go to the market. I can't even think of what to buy because there's too many options. I'm gonna keep working because I believe in everyone. So other people who haven't had a job and can work. That's why I was racist. So look, we don't punish them, and we talk all around the world. We find out, well, over here on this side of the world, since we talk to each other now, since there's no racism, since there's no nothing, since we all decide to say, yeah, I'm racist, I killed someone. Yeah, I'm in the cult, I killed someone. Yeah, I killed someone, I didn't tell you. Yeah, I told a white lie. But we tell all each other because there's a power principle involved. And they'll say, you're a murderer. The other side of the planet will say, oh, actually, this is why it happens. We've known about it for a long time, but we're different cultures. Actually, what he's feeling that no one's proven in science, we've known is actually the truth. So he knows what right. He knows what to stay away from. So when the politicians already say, I told her, I'm a snitch. The power principle. They're already done. We already forgave them. We'll give them a big hug if they even told us even more, because the power principle is involved. Okay, we'll give them a big hug. And if someone, we could be, listen to this. If it's everybody's fault, there's hope. Let's say some guy's a punk ass snob who can't control his liquor, so we kill him and make money because he's a bitch. He's someone smarter than him. Oh yeah. One kid's too many. One little person's one too many, right? Why don't we all stop drinking alcohol? Well, no, right and wrong. One kid's too many. Oh, I didn't know, or he didn't know. He didn't know he was going to be born into a family where he was going to be a bitch ass snob, faggot, queer, pussy who can't control his liquor, right? Oh, I went to bartending school. There's certain races that have higher tolerance. And did you know what? The sensitiver you are, the more you look like a fool when you're drunk or something. Who the fucking knows? Maybe even someone from the other side of the planet will tell you, hey, actually it's spiritual and that exists and it's bad. Or maybe some priest that never got arrested for being a child molester will say the high up there will say, actually, the power principle and spirituality and all kinds of stuff. That's why he never got arrested. And some people just, you wouldn't know because no one's communicating with each other and we don't even share our money together. So the idea of observation with the whole world, we even got the internet. So we don't have to prove how deep we are with each other. We can just have fun together. So we're all rich. Observation. So that we take the leap of faith. Let's be enlightened and just learn from each other. And I bet since we're all connected, every single answer that was a miscommunication here was known somewhere else. And if we trusted them and say, actually, we've known that for 1,000 years, it's actually not his fault. And we can tell them even more about what went right in the wrong situation. And all these people who kill you, all these people didn't, all these people told white lies. We're not going to punish each other. We're all going to decide to just tell each other everything and not get mad at each other. And know we know what went right in the wrong situation. And we all change just for each other. And then after that, we instill the golden rule after that. And then we instill the golden rule. We have a 17-year-old female president, okay? We do not do unto others as we done ourselves. We instill the golden rule. We have a 17-year-old president. 20 years from now, that 17-year-old president couldn't tell us it's a damn thing that was wrong because she's only 17. So 50 years from now, we will never do anything wrong because a 17-year-old can tell us something wrong to do. So fairness, crime punishment, since we're all rich already, we haven't solved crime. Observation, enlightenment, learning, evolution, which is learning, back to tradition. I just saved the world.